word Mafia.
Even if they try to walk up to themselves and like change stuff, it won't.
You were
It'll
so
fail.
close to saying whatever happened. I was like, oh, is she going to say the exact words?
I mean, I kind of did say that just in like longer
Yeah.
terms.
So I was like, oh, she's...
I'm like, the past...
You were saying it.
I know, I was like, the past has already happened. The past is the past. And the future is the future. It's already happened. It's just whatever happened already happened. Because if you... it makes sense. Because if you change the past or the future, it would have already presented in the future, hence the past. But like that could have stopped you from ever doing any of your previous actions. So you would never have gone back in the past.
Yeah, the natural course of time is that you go back into the past. Why would that then need time changes?
Yeah.
If that's what always happened.
Yeah. Because then, you would create a paradox. Like, you would make it so you never go back. So you would never change the past. Yeah, it's Richard.
Richard.
Is he doing it too? Is that his thing? Wait, no, but he does it off the island too.
What's happening? You're bleeding to death. You need to get the bullet out. How did you know there was a bullet in my leg, Richard? Because you told me there was, John. No, I didn't.
You will.
Well, you will. Ethan, who shot me. Well, comes around, goes around. When?
There it is. He's figuring it out.
Well, John, that's all relative. All right, this is gonna hurt. It'll be a lot worse if you move, okay? Hold still. All done. I don't understand. How did you know that I was here? I wish I had time to explain it, John, but you're gonna be moving on soon. We need to go over a couple things before moving on. Sorry. First thing, okay? You're gonna need to clean out the wound every couple of hours. Keep as much weight off the leg as you can, all right? The island will do the rest, John. All right, but I don't... Second thing, I'm gonna pay attention. Next time we see each other, I'm not gonna recognize you. You give me this. What is it? It's a compass. What does it do? It points north, John.
He's like, what do you mean? It's a compass.
The only way to save the island, John, is to get your people back here. The ones who left. And they're already home. So you have to convince them to come back. How am I supposed to do that? You're gonna have to die, John.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, back up there. So it's the past again.
And it's like just...
Yeah, Ethan must have just left. Compass. Well, there's a lot of stuff on this island that is a thing but does something else. Like a donkey wheel that moves the island.
Yeah, that was a valid question.
What does it do? Points north.
Hey, man, I've seen a lot of weird things on this island. Okay? Don't judge me.
Sucks that it hurts every time they travel through time.
Oh. So it seems like both of them... Wait, no. Richard said he's not moving through time, just them.
Yeah.
So it's
also about perspective.
The hatch. It's back.
But yeah, Richard made it sound like he's not traveling time at all.
Yeah. So it's just the people who or our current main cast who was traveling through time, not necessarily the island itself.
Back door. Getting some supplies.
He's going into the hatch. It's there.
Because Desmond didn't know you when you first came out of there. That means you've never met. Which means you can't meet. This will all be fascinating if I was listening to you. Wait, open the damn door! It won't work. Sure it will.
Just let him do it, Dan. Just let him figure it out.
No one is gonna answer. If it didn't happen, it can't happen. You can't change the past, James!
Everybody I care about just blew up on your dinner bowl.
I know what I can't change.
Yeah, he thinks all of them are dead.
Yeah.
We should get back to the ground. It's been a long day.
Why are we going back to the beach if there's nothing to go back to?
So stay here.
Chick likes me.
Okay, Miles. He's so weird, man. He's... Oh.
What was that?
Why do people in movies and like TV shows, when they get a nosebleed or something, they're like, It's like, I know you
Can't
feel.
Yeah.
You don't feel liquid
blood is,
running down your nose. Like, have you ever had like a runny nose? You feel that shit. I don't.
Yeah.
They always act so surprised. Like, my nose is bleeding. Yeah, you don't. It's always so funny.
They were right behind you.
I wonder if it's like the same thing like Desmond. Like, they're gonna die if they don't like have a constant.
Desmond and that communications guy, they started bleeding out their noses.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it might be the
because they were
same.
traveling back and forth too much.
But in their case, it was just their consciousness. They're physically and their like both are moving. So that's why I'm like.
But they still technically don't have a constant.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, is it the same thing? I don't know. Is he gonna try to change the past?
Whoa.
It's Desmond.
Then you best explain why you've been banging on my door for the last 20 minutes, brother. Are you him?
Him? Who?
My replacement?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Do I know you?
Yeah, in a way. But listen, that's not important. What is important, Desmond, is what I'm about to say to you. I need you to listen. You're the only person who can help us because, Desmond, the rules don't apply to you. You're special. You're uniquely and miraculously special.
What are you talking about?
He can change the details, unlike everyone else.
If the helicopter somehow made it off the island, if you got home...
What helicopter? What are you talking
Listen,
about?
I need you to listen, or people are gonna die. And right now, me and everyone else you left behind, we're in serious danger. You're the only person who can help us. I need you to go back to Oxford University. Go back to where we met. I need you to go there and find my mother. Her name...
You alright?
What's on
Been off the island for 3 years now. You're safe now. It's just a dream.
It wasn't a dream.
It was a memory.
It was a man.
I'm calling it. I'm calling all the shots. I wrote Lost.
So Desmond is special, like legit, more than just because he turned the key or whatever.
No, I think it's also like he has a constant. But also, yeah, like
Dan says the time travel rules that don't apply to Desmond uniquely. He can actually change things a little bit.
yeah. And it could be because he turned the key. It could also
True.
It could also be because he now has a constant.
Also true.
Oxford.
But Desmond saw the light and heard the noise, unlike everyone else they interacted with. Oh, it's a.
Whoa,
That's
that was
where they
fast.
had it. Yeah.
I was enjoying that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's kind of because in the Desmond time travel episodes, they established that you can change things a little bit. You can change details, but destiny is kind of locked in. Fate,
Yeah.
will
Like
things will course correct.
Big events, will course correct. So you always like go back in time.
But
or,
in
like,
this
whatever.
episode, Dan is saying, no, we can't even change details. Whatever happened, happened exactly the way they always happened. So the loophole to explain, that is the true for everyone except Desmond, because he's special. Like Walt, like Hurley, Locke.
Yeah.
He has this special ability that he can, when traveling through time or interacting with time travelers, change details.
Yeah.
But fate always course corrects.
Yeah.
So the course correcting rule applies to Desmond, but for everyone else, it's everything happened exactly the way it happened.
And that actually makes a lot of sense because especially when he was trying to save Charlie, like Charlie would have died
Yeah.
right away if Desmond had not interfered.
Yes.
So he changed the details about how Charlie died, but
Yeah.
obviously ultimately Charlie died.
Charlie had to die. So I kind of like that. Like, yeah, it's a hard can't change history. This one guy can. That's a superpower.
Sort of, yeah, like tiny bit.
A tiny bit.
Just little
like you
details.
can get a message to the future by interacting with his past self.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Oh, yeah.
And actually, it makes sense too that like Daniel would go to Desmond because he's like, if anything happens to me, he in his notebook he said Desmond is my constant, which is probably the best person for him to have a.
He knows Desmond is special.
But also like Desmond already interacted with him in the past.
Yeah.
And future, so it's like they're both kind of linked already.
Yes.
So having each other as like a constant is actually pretty smart. Yeah.
So what'd you think of this premiere episode?
You know what? It's a solid premiere. Solid premiere. I love time travel stuff.
So, is this a flashback or is this just time travel?
Nah, it's just... Well, okay, I guess technically the only flashback part of it was the doctor in the beginning, the Dharma Initiative.
Yes,
and
but they also flash back to 3 years ago, what happened to everyone on the island when they left. Are we flashing back to when everyone time traveled, or are we just cutting back and forth between this time travel storyline and what's happening with the Oceanic Six? Because a lot of people say there's not really that much flashbacks on the show because now it's just kind of, we're not focusing on a specific character and something happened to them. We're flashing back to what happened to everyone else.
Yeah, I guess in a way it is, but like, because we don't know how far in the future they will go, like, forward. Like, they don't even know, right? So, like...
For them, it's been a couple minutes.
Yeah.
For Oceanic Six, it's been 3 years, they said.
Yeah. So, like... And since they're just hopping back and forth, there's not... See, the thing with time, right? It's gonna be... I'm not gonna get... But, like... How do you... Yeah, there's no, like, flash forward or flashback. Because, like, if you're just moving through time, you're doing both. It's not really, like, forward or back, in a sense. Like, you're just... It's happening to you presently.
Yeah. From their perspective, it's all there present, but they're moving backwards and forwards in time.
Yeah. So, like, just, I guess, like, brain-wise, like, consciously, it's the present, but just for everyone else's perspective, it's not. So, it's not really a flashback because it's still happening to... It's like when Desmond was going back and forth. Like, he's not, like... He's not flashing back. Like, it's not a flashback that we saw him go to Dan in the past when he was in the military. It's just his consciousness is presently going through time.
I agree, which is why, because people say, okay, so every episode there was a flashback, and then in last season they did flash forwards. I posit that this is a third form of nonlinear storytelling, which is the time travel episode.
Yeah.
Like the Desmond time travel episodes before, where the first one technically was a flashback to a time when he time traveled, but the constant was present, him going back and forth.
Yeah.
This is
consciousness.
This is us sticking with the Oceanic Six right now in the present, following the end of last season. Yeah. And us seeing the island survivors traveling through time.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, from, I guess, if you think about it, then, like, from the people who got left on the island, from their perspective, like, it's a flash forward because they're still presently going through time. Yeah. And then if you look at it from the Oceanic Six, for them, it's a flashback because their present consciousness is in the future.
3 years ahead of them.
Yeah. So it's both. But you can't, like, when you move through time, it's like, it's more of like you have to figure out when is their present consciousness, like when in time is it? Because, like, yeah, it's like almost like if your future consciousness is going through the past, like, I don't, like,
yeah.
Does that mean, like, yeah, are you flashing back? It's like, not really, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I know how much you love time travel stories just as much as I do. So I hope you're psyched for a season of it.
I am. Okay, look, time travel, I love it, but, like, it's a hit or miss because
you can do it wrong.
Yes, you can do it very wrong.
Mm-hmm. So far, they've had good time travel stories.
Yeah,
this is the third time travel story technically.
Yeah, every episode that they've had of time travel, I've loved. So, good job.
Yeah,
and, like,
I mean, yeah.
So far, they haven't really broken their own rules yet.
Universally, the Constant was loved.
Yeah.
So they're like, can we just do a whole season of that?
Yeah. So that's where, like, it could become an issue just because if you're gonna do, like, if you're gonna write a whole thing about time travel, then it's very important to establish rules, which they did, right?
Yeah.
And they have to stick to it. Like,
yeah.
I really
they keep
hope they
adding
don't
things. This is a big retcon because
a little
so far we've seen time travel through Desmond's perspective, and we're learning that's not how it works for everyone.
Yeah,
Desmond is special, For everyone else, whatever happened.
It is a little bit retconny, but
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay with it because the retcon, it wasn't just like we're going to throw that in there randomly so we can explain other things. It was more like, this had already happened to Desmond, like way long before. And they already established in the constant how, like, I guess in a way, like, they didn't establish rules for like the entire island, right? They only established it for him.
Yeah.
And how he moves through time, but he was already a special case because he was the one who moved the key, and he was already having visions, and he was already having all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I guess I don't see it as just like them retconning, because it's like they already had all of this information they could like make sense of. So like for him to be like, yeah, he's special, it's like, well, at least it's not like a I don't know, it's not just like thrown in there like, oh yeah, Claire's special, or like, oh yeah, Kate's special. Like, we don't see any instance of them being special, and then they're just gonna say like, oh, you're special. I'm like, no, they already established his rule. They established like kind of why he's special. There were specific events that made him special, and there were specific events that like he solidified his consciousness in that time. So like, it would make sense that he now has special rules applied to him. He already went through it. But also, like, it made sense that he had special rules because we already saw, like, what's the dude? Not the captain. The other dude that was going through the same thing, but he died.
Mikowski?
I don't know his name. But, like, that other dude that was in the constant,
Yeah.
that was on the bed, and he was doing the same thing, right? And they even said in that episode that it's different. People move through time differently. Sometimes it's your consciousness. Sometimes it's like and sometimes you go back to the same time. Just keep going.
Desmond's past self was going back and forth between his time and the present. Whereas Mikowski, his present mind was randomly traveling to different points in his life.
Yeah. So in Desmond's case, right? Yeah, he was just going to the same point, I guess.
Back and forth.
But yeah, so it is different for everyone, and we already know that.
Yeah.
So for it to be different for Desmond, like, they already kind of established it's different for everyone. So why wouldn't it be different?
Exposure to this energy that lets you travel through time affects everyone differently.
Yeah.
But everyone on the island that's time traveling is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is, they're, like how Dan explained it, they're on a record that's skipping. The island is a record and it's skipping. That's why it's different now, because it's not that they're exposed to this radiation energy.
Exactly.
It's the island is messed up and it's affecting everyone equally.
Yeah, which makes sense, because like they were not the ones to like they didn't turn a key and like have that affected to them. It's just it's like more like the island was affected by the radiation and they just happened to be on the island. So now they are
because they are physically moving.
Yeah,
it's
different.
It's different.
We
have not seen this yet.
No, we have not.
Which is, I guess, how Dan is at the Dharma, like back in the 70s. He wasn't like either born, or he definitely wasn't that old when he was in the 70s. So
it could be how, like, because they're going back and forth. Yeah, it could be why Dan's there. We just haven't seen the others there.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, well, we know that that's going to happen at some point, I guess.
Yeah,
but
whenever that happens, right?
Yeah. That's the only mystery I wrote down, is how is Dan in the past?
I mean, yeah, I guess they kind of explained it. Like, they're just going, they're going back and
forth. They said whatever Ben Linus did to move the island has dislodged us from time, or the island in time, and we're being affected by it. Either way, we're traveling through time.
Yeah, and it could also be like the way he's back in time. Like, Desmond could have done something too, like, because we don't know what they're gonna do. So he could have just done something with Desmond, and then like now he's just back in where when the Dharma Initiative was there. And that could also be why his memory is all fucked up too. Like later, right? He's like, when the plane crashes and he sees the TV and he's like, I don't know why I'm crying. Like, that could just be like, he's remembering something that like
didn't happen yet,
but it did.
It is implied that because he was shooting rats with this energy to move them through time, and he's only able to do that because of the message he gave himself through Desmond. But it's implied that he doing that a lot somehow affected him as well. We don't know exactly what happened, but it messed up his memory.
Yeah. I mean, radiation.
Yeah.
Any radiation, right, is gonna make you sick.
Yeah. He said, "Oh, the vest is just for me because I do this like 20 times a day. You're fine with that one." Like, what about your head? Huh? Didn't think of that. His head's always getting hit by this radiation that he's messing with.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like it didn't seem as retconny as I think people may make it out to be.
It's definitely a retcon, but I think it's a well done retcon.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this is believable. This is totally fine.
It is very believable. It didn't it's not like, oh,
I'm trying to think of a bad example.
Well, a bad example would be somehow Palpatine is back.
Yeah. That's pretty much
Sorry,
retcon.
if you haven't, that was a major spoiler for Star Wars.
I feel like it was in the trailer. Maybe it wasn't.
I don't think it was.
I don't know. It was in Fortnite.
If you haven't seen the newest Star Wars movies, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, somehow Palpatine returns.
But yeah, sorry, that was a major spoiler. But somehow, this is not a joke. They literally just said this in the movie. Somehow. They didn't even explain it.
Okay. Slight spoilers for Kingdom Hearts.
Wait.
How far in Kingdom Hearts 2 did you get?
Not very far.
Did you reach any time travel?
No.
There's time travel in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Bruh.
And then later they completely change how time travel works. And they don't explain why it's different now. Just that, no, this is how it always worked.
Oh my god.
Nuh-uh. That's not how it worked in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Alright, well,
and they never explain it.
I never, that kind of stuff is like, oh my god,
But once they change it, they're consistent with the new rules moving forward.
That's nice.
But
still.
But you had time travel in Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's like, it's not, this is different.
Yeah, I don't like it when people...
And they're like, why was it different? Oh, it was different because it was different. Oh! Thank you! That's why it was different, right? Because it was different.
My hope in Lost is they don't do that.
Okay.
And, at least this, this retcon, I guess, wasn't like a, somehow this happened,
right.
Or like a... He's just back.
No, because it's not somehow Desmond is special. We know.
Yeah, exactly.
We know why he's special, and the new established rules make sense.
Yes, they have already shown how he is special.
Yeah.
It wasn't like just a line of text or exposition here. Somehow.
Does remind me. I'm sure you've never seen the Futurama Simpsons crossover.
I have not.
Episode. Basically, Bender from Futurama comes back in time to do stuff, and then he opens up, and the rest of the Futurama cast come out, and they're all in Springfield in the past. And Lisa questions how this is possible. Like, did you come back in a time machine? And the professor explains, no, time machines are physically impossible. What we did was we connected a wormhole in our time to Bender's molecular structure here in the past and used that as a bridge to travel through time. Oh, how did Bender come back in time? Oh, we used a time machine.
What? Yeah. I mean, they're probably parroting, right?
Yeah, they're making fun of how this doesn't
Yeah.
What?
That doesn't make sense at all.
We used a time machine. When you just said they were impossible. Yeah. Anyway, that's the best joke of that episode.
I hope they don't do anything like that. That's just as you know, it's because it's a TV series and not a movie, especially there's a lot of room to mess up and break your own rules and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see how they do. But I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I like seeing them go through time, how they deal with it, especially even though it's a little predictable now for me because I just seen a lot, but it's still fun.
Yeah, because we have the Oceanic Six plus Ben, and now I guess Desmond is getting involved again. In the present.
Yes.
And then
the captain.
On the island we have Sawyer, Juliet, Miles, Dan, and Charlotte. Sawyer. Oh, and Locke. He's also running around. But we only got Sawyer and Locke from the original crew and a bunch of the newer characters dealing with time travel, which is like, that's not Sawyer's side of Lost.
No. I know. He really is like, I don't give a fuck.
Time travel's like, he is not. He had the boar that reminded him of the guy he killed, and he knows that Locke got healed, and that his dad is the same guy who ruined his life, and that's like it. Like, he's never. I don't even think he's ever seen the monster. He saw the polar bear, and I think he's run from the monster, but he's never seen the smoke. I don't believe. Oh no, he did, because Ben called it one time. But other than that, Sawyer's side of Lost has always been the more grounded stuff.
Yeah,
like him and Kate, and like a few others never really deal with the crazy sci-fi magic stuff.
But then I think
like he's near it a lot, but he's never like directly like confronted with it.
Yeah, I think too though with Sawyer, like like he's more like Jack, I think, but like I think once he kind of sees it, he's more of the like, you know what, we'll deal with this later. Like, yeah, this is happening, but like whatever, I don't give a shit. Yeah. Like instead of Jack's like, just denial.
Yeah, they're both in denial, but for Sawyer it's more of a postpone, like we'll deal with this later. Yeah. I agree. And where Jack is like, this isn't happening. Yeah. Or it's happening, but there's an explanation and I'm not going to waste a thought trying to figure out what that is.
Because Sawyer, I think, like, he doesn't deny that it's happening. Like, he clearly is like, okay. But, like, a lot of it comes from ignorance. So, like when he was trying to get Dan to explain, right? Yeah. Because he was like, clearly this is a thing happening. You need to explain it to me like I'm 5 right now. Because I'm going through something that I don't understand. And that makes me, like, anxious and confused and scared. And I'm going to fucking blow up if you don't fucking tell me what's going on. So, like, I think a lot of it just comes from, like, he just doesn't understand what's going on and he wants to understand and he wants to be in control of the situation. So, like, because, I think for Sawyer, a lot of it, I mean, why else would you be a con man? He needs to have control over everything. So, like, if something happens that he doesn't understand, he's like, no, you need to fucking explain to me right now what the fuck's going on. I need to like, he doesn't even care that it's like, I don't think he'll care if it's like supernatural. He just needs to know what's happening. Yeah. Because like when there were like other people, right? He's like, clearly we're getting picked off. Okay, fine. There's other people on the island. Whatever. That's fine. Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Because
so once he understands,
he really has not been dealing with any of this stuff. Like Hurley's stuff, Desmond's stuff. He was not a part of that.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
He wasn't part of it.
But I'm sure, like, if people, like, tell him or, like, if they just explain things to him, he'd be like, fine, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So, he's more of, like, I think he's more in the middle with Saeed in terms of, like, as, like, Saeed, okay, it's like two halves of the same coin, right? Saeed doesn't need to understand it to, like, accept it and just kind of roll with it. Sure. Sawyer, on the other hand, needs to understand it to accept what's going on, or to kind of like, not necessarily accept, but I guess in a way accept. He needs to understand it, but he wants to understand it. So it's not like he's denying it's happening, whereas Jack is.
Saeed needs evidence to just to accept. It's like, if you just tell him there's time travel, he's like, whatever, I don't believe that, but okay, we're moving on. Yeah. But like he knows there's a monster. Yeah. He knows that Desmond needed to call Penny to save his life.
He didn't know why.
He's like, I believe this is happening because it's in front of me. That's all I need for now, but I expect an explanation later.
Yeah, Sawyer is the opposite.
Sawyer, like, you need to explain to me for me to accept that what's happening right now. You are right. Yeah. Whereas Jack will ignore evidence.
Yeah. Jack will literally just straight up deny. He's like, no, I don't even see it. This isn't happening.
Locke doesn't need evidence.
Locke is like the like emoticon, like he literally doesn't need anything. He's just like, yeah, like even before anything happens, he's like, yeah, I believe it. Like, what do you... Yeah. Like, even before the phenomena happens, he's like, I'm on board.
This is what's going on. Yeah. Like, it's the island testing me.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, that was pretty loud. But like, He's like, the island's testing me. It's the island, but nothing has even happened yet. Like,
Yeah.
like please, Locke.
Hurley is open-minded this kind of thing because he's dealt with before the island. He's dealt with weird stuff.
Yeah.
Kate, I think, is closer to Jack. She's like between Jack and Sawyer.
Yeah, I think
on the scale, if Jack is hard here, Saeed's like here in the middle, and like Sawyer's like in between Saeed and Jack, maybe closer to Saeed. I would say Kate's closer to Jack because, but
really?
We don't have a lot of evidence.
I would say
to go off of.
I would actually say she's closer to Saeed
because the only crazy thing she's interacted with is the monster, the horse / her father speaking through Sawyer, and watching the island disappear.
Yeah,
and that's it, really. We don't really know how Kate handles this stuff because she hasn't interacted with it. But when she does interact with it, she just kind of moves on. Yeah,
she's more like Saeed, though. Like, she doesn't necessarily need to understand.
But I don't know if she accepts it, though. We have not seen her accept these things. We've just seen her just kind of move on from it. So that's what makes me think she's closer to Jack, where she's just like in denial that these things are happening.
Yeah, it's hard though, because like, I think I'm basing it like on a little bit of like in other situations where like sometimes she'll,
because the horse thing she accepted.
Yeah, like sometimes though she'll be in these situations and then she won't know everything that's going on, but she'll just kind of go with it. Yeah. So like, and even if it's not supernatural, that's why I'm like, right. I think if it were more supernatural, maybe like she might be like I think because she has a bias towards Jack, she might lean towards Jack. But if she did not have a bias towards Jack, I think she would lean more on the Saeed side. Like, she would just kind of like,
I believe what I can see.
Yeah, I don't really understand what's going on here, but like we need to deal with this situation, so we're just gonna deal with this situation. So, because like she seems more practical in that sense.
Yeah, because also she was kind of with Jack on the missing helicopter with Desmond and Saeed for a day.
Yeah,
because they were like, or Miles talking or communicating with Naomi post death. They were just like,
what?
Yeah,
so that's what I mean. Like, so like Kate was like, I
don't believe this, but whatever. You guys have guns. Yeah, and we're kind of your hostage right now, so whatever. She was just kind of like, like she didn't really, She knows there's a monster. It clearly has. I mean, even Jack has accepted that there is a monster. He just doesn't think about it. He dissociates whenever the monster is like irrelevant.
Whenever anything supernatural happens,
he dissociates or just goes into a blind rage. He's like, no, this isn't happening.
Like, literally. He's like, this isn't, no. He's like, the island told you, Locke, the island. Yeah. Like, Jack and...
I can't believe he did it. Locke moved the island. No, he didn't.
I know. That was the most hilarious. I was like, I don't know if you guys, you probably have seen my reaction already too. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He literally, and then I love how Hurley...
Really, dude?
I know. I love how Hurley, though, was like... Come on.
So what happened? And he had no answer because,
How do you answer
because there isn't an answer other than, he moved the island. But, like, we don't really see Kate's reaction to that.
Yeah.
Or to be fair, Saeed's, but we can assume Saeed believes it because it literally happened in front of him.
Yeah. I just thought that was so funny. Hurley was like, oh, they didn't move the island, Jack. Where is it then? And he's like, ... Yeah.
No answer.
What else can it be? The island was there.
Sun was like in full-on shock because Jin just died.
Yeah.
So we don't, she's like dissociated from everything. Like, island's gone, whatever. The world's gone. Jin's dead.
Yeah.
But Kate has Aaron and like she saw the island disappear.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what she took from that.
She might have also been in shock too.
Like, sure. I mean, they were all in shock, but Hurley was like, wow, the island disappeared. And Jack's like, no, it didn't. And we can assume Saeed's like, it did.
He's like, I saw the island. It's not there anymore. Like, we all saw the same thing with our eyeballs, right? Like, We all saw the island, and now it's not there, right? You don't see an island now,
But
right?
yeah, we don't get Kate's perspective on it. We get Hurley's and Jack's.
I know we're talking a long time about this.
I know, but
it's just very hilarious.
Yes, I do think there is value in going over the spectrum from Locke to Jack,
and who's
where people are. Because Saeed, as we discussed, is dead center. He's equal parts faith and science, which was probably he was one of the best characters on the show. Even Juliet, I would say, is close to Saeed because she's been on the island for 3 years.
Yeah,
and accepts this weird stuff because even though she is a scientist, she's a medical scientist who essentially cured infertility.
Legit. Legit.
But she believes that the island can cure cancer. She believes this time travel stuff because it's happening in front of her. She believes the monster. She just accepts this stuff because it's in front of her.
Yeah, she sees it.
Yeah.
And she
has Saeed's practicality, which is like, okay, this is happening. But I'd say everyone between Locke and Saeed is probably dead. Because there was Echo, who I think was closer to Locke. But he used to be closer to Jack. And then, being on the island moved him closer to Locke. Charlie, I would argue, is probably south of Saeed.
Really?
Because he used to be religious, and also the death premonition thing. It was hard for him to accept because it was happening to him. But I think he's open-minded to psychics.
That's true.
So is Claire. So I don't know if Claire is also south of Saeed. Closer to faith. Hard to say.
But for Charlie, it was I think it was more like he still accepted it. He just didn't like that it was it was happening to him.
But he was also getting visions. There was an episode where he was getting visions and it got him in trouble because he was an idiot about it. But I feel like Charlie is much more closer to faith than science. On the spectrum of Locke to Jack, I think he was closer to Locke. Same with Desmond. Desmond is a rational guy, but he's seen a lot of crazy stuff. So he's like, no, this is happening. I'm traveling through time. There's a button I got to push. There's a sickness that never comes up anymore. This is what I believe. So, I think, probably Desmond's the last one, probably between Saeed and Locke. On the Locke side of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think Desmond would probably be the closest to Saeed.
Last one standing. Because Sun also has not interacted with any of this crap. The only thing is
maybe her pregnancy.
The pregnancy is the only thing that she has come up against. Because, Jin was infertile. But now because the island's magical, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's killing her.
Which she believes.
She believed, Because Juliet just told her, did you know that on this island sperm count is times 5? That's a crazy thing to just accept.
Yeah. Actually, I would say she's more on the Jack side. Because
Sun?
Yeah, because she was well, maybe it's more if she just didn't trust Juliet, so I don't know. That's hard.
Sun has a strong level of practicality to her.
Yeah.
But like I said, but she only has the one instance of supernatural crap.
Yeah.
To come up against. She's never seen the monster or a polar bear.
Yeah, she hasn't really seen anyone.
She's never time traveled.
Yeah.
She saw the island disappear, but she was out of it, I think, at that point. She might not have seen it.
She might have just been
She was just dead inside because Jin just died.
Yeah.
She didn't know about the time displacement stuff. She doesn't know anything about anything. She's never. All her episodes are about her and Jin, and sometimes Michael, sometimes Saeed, or Kate, just real stuff.
Yeah, it's more about her pregnancy or things happening with Jin. Yeah, I don't know.
So, I don't really know how she, but I'm inclined to believe you that, or agree with you that she was more on the Jack side. Yeah. And that's with the new characters. I mean, Miles is magic.
Well, he's more of a medium.
He's a medium, so obviously he believes the supernatural. Daniel is the most sciencey man ever, but he believes all this crazy stuff.
But it's because he has
proof.
Evidence. So
exactly.
he's more. He's more in the middle. Actually, he's like probably dead
He's
center.
literally the most science.
He's probably...
But on the scale of science and faith, I would say he's closer to the middle.
Yeah, I think he's probably the same as Saeed. Whereas like... Well, maybe not the same. Because he already has proof. But then again...
Yeah, he met a time traveler.
But then again... He was already studying space before he met Desmond and stuff.
Yeah, he was working on time
He was
travel.
already working on stuff like that, which is a more science-y thing, but...
But if it was Locke and Desmond came up saying, I'm from the future, you go, I believe you already. Whatever you say, I will
Actually,
believe.
yeah, that's a good point, because the Daniel from the past was like, the Daniel from the future told Desmond to be like, tell me about this so I believe you. So, like, I guess he is more on the, like...
Or he used to be, at least.
Or, yeah,
he seems like a different person now.
He used to be more on the Jack side, where it's like, he's like...
Yeah.
Right? He needs to have evidence. But, like, even Saeed, though. Saeed does need evidence as well. So, like, he needs to see it with his own eyes. So, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I think both of them are actually probably more dead center.
Yeah, I'd say the Saeed, Juliet, Dan are pretty much same spot.
Because they all have seen it, though. Like, they all already have evidence in
but
their
they're open-minded enough to accept
that's
impossible things if they see it.
Yes.
Which same cannot be said for every character on the show. As I said, Jack definitely not. I argue Kate, I say 50-50, she just denies weird stuff. And Sawyer is like close, but not like... If he sees something weird, he'll know there's something weird, but he won't accept that it's real or true without like evidence.
Understanding.
Understand.
Like
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Understanding.
it just comes from a place of ignorance, I think.
Yeah.
Because like, with Saeed, it's like, he doesn't need to understand it.
Yeah.
He just needs to see it.
And Hurley, I think he's pretty open-minded about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because like he didn't need evidence to believe that Charlie was gonna die because Desmond said so. Or he didn't even need. I mean, he needed evidence to get. He's the first to suspect that Desmond could see the future, and he was right.
But then again, if you think about it, Hurley also kind of has evidence.
Well,
with his own life.
But he put the pieces together himself without someone telling him, "I can see the future." Or
true.
He believed it before he got confirmation or solid evidence.
That's true. So yeah, he's probably more on the
faith side.
Yeah, faith side.
But he's also a fairly rational person. He's like, why are we doing this? Why not just do this instead?
I mean, you can be rational and
I know. But that's why he's not as far on the faith as Locke.
No.
Because Locke is not rational. I mean, sometimes he is. Sometimes he's extremely rational. But when it comes to the island stuff, he is so like,
the thing is,
I believe.
Like, I think all of the characters have their rational moments. Like, they can all think rationally and be practical. It's just like their priorities, and like especially with Locke, he's just obsessed, and I think that's the problem. Like Locke is obsessed. Like the thing is, right? Yeah. Locke is obsessed with the island and staying, and Jack is obsessed with getting off the island.
Because Jack is also often not rational, even though he's the furthest point on the science side.
Yeah, actually, he can be pretty
because denying a lot of this stuff is not rational because it's obviously happening.
The island move, nah.
Yeah, that's not rational. That's not a rational response.
No, it's not. It'd just be like, nah.
Yeah, like so on the scale of faith and science, rationality is in the center, going outward. The most rational characters are Saeed and Juliet. I won't put Dan in there because he's a little out there, but Saeed and Juliet are definitely the most rational characters on this show.
Probably why they're one of my favorites. I'm like, like you need to have a good balance between the two. It's like, okay, this weird stuff's happening. I'm not really quite sure what, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we're gonna we'll deal with that.
Yep.
I'll understand that later, but you know what? I'm gonna help you. Like,
why would Ben say these people are here to harm us? Because he's a liar. Or because they're here to harm us. Do you still have guns? And they're like, all right. Team rational.
Yeah, like look, we don't know if they're here to harm us, but we should probably protect ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
Because I know Ben's a liar, but also, like, he manipulates, so he could be telling the truth. I don't know. So we're just gonna
Yep.
we're gonna have a plan B.
And because they didn't just blindly accept it like Jack did, they were able to save Jack and Kate. Yeah.
No, oh my god. Freaking Jack, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once he met them, he started to suspect them because they had guns and they were being really cagey. But before that, he was just like, I don't trust Ben at all, so I'm not going to accept what he says at all, even if it's right. Yeah.
Even if, like, yeah, and even if, like, there was, even when there was, like, evidence kind of otherwise, like, even when he was starting to suspect them, he was still like, I hate Ben. Like, he was still like, no, I don't trust Ben. It's like, you, like, they are clearly, like, suspicious of something. Like, you are clearly suspicious. Mm-hmm. Or, like, they are suspicious and you're, like, suspecting something. Like,
yeah.
Please. And then, but he finally, when he asked Bernard to, like, listen, is, like, finally when he, like, accepted it. That, like, okay, these people are kind of sus. It's like, there were so... Yeah. He's like the person that just, like, sees all of these red flags and just blatantly ignores it until it's too late. Mm. And you're, like, deep in it for, like, 4 years in an abusive relationship. Poor Jack. Actually, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Why he
he wound up with Sarah for a bit? Mm-hmm. And why he likes Kate so much?
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just blatantly ignores red flags. Only sees the green flags. Just no red.
Well,
that's funny. Anyway, sorry, that was really long.
That was a long discussion, but I think it's a worthwhile listening one. If you listen to the whole thing, thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to us ramble on.
And if you like us, you can support us on Patreon. Yeah. But also just, subscribing and liking and watching the videos is good too.
Yes.
That's helpful. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, that was a long one. Jeez. We had a lot to say.
Sure did.
That was a fun episode, though.